The courts will decide who's going to be inheriting your rental properties if you pass away with those properties in your personal name and without a will. And so the reason being is that when you pass away with assets in your personal name, they will have to go through the probate process to be distributed out to your family. And if you don't have a will that outlines the distribution of those assets, then the intestate laws of your state will determine how those assets get distributed. As an example, in Georgia, your assets get split evenly between your spouse and your kids, with your spouse getting a minimum of 1/3. And then if you want your spouse to get all of your rental portfolio to take care of them financially for the remainder of their life, which is pretty standard, and you pass away without a will or another legal document that outlines the distribution of those rental properties, your kids will get a large portion of your rental portfolio, which is meant to go to your spouse, and makes it more difficult for your spouse to take care of themselves for the remainder of their life. So you have a couple different options on how you can handle this. If you have a will, it will outline the distribution of those rental properties going to your spouse, but it will force that rental property to go through the probate process before your spouse can take over the ownership of that property or properties. The other options to avoid the probate process would be to own those properties as joint tenants with rights of survivorship with your spouse. When you hold it as with rights of survivorship, one of you passes away, your half will go directly down to your surviving spouse and avoid the probate process. The other one is going to be putting the rental properties inside of a revocable trust. While you're alive, you can be the trustee and have full control over that rental property. And then when you pass away, you can keep those properties inside the revocable trust to be used to take care of your surviving spouse for the remainder of their life. And then you have the option to allow someone else to be the trustee so that your spouse doesn't have to figure out how to manage that rental portfolio, the tenants, the lease agreements, the renovations, or the finances related to that, especially if they have not been involved with it while you have been alive. You don't want them to have to go figure out all that stuff at the end of their life.